gather round us when the sky starts to blush. The longest year we feel our
You're listening to the Hult Center podcast, and with me today is Chris Pureka. Chris will be performing at the Hult Center on Friday, April 22nd at 8 o'clock for our 10x10 series, where all tickets are just $10. And so welcome, Chris. Thanks for coming.
Thanks. Yeah.
And just this series, is bringing artists that are fantastic to people that might not have heard you before. So if you could tell us a little bit who you are, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really excited. What a great idea for like a more affordable concert series, and that sounds great. I hope that people check it out. Yeah, my name's Chris Pureka. I'm a Portland-based singer-songwriter. I've been living in Portland for about 9 years, but I originally from the East Coast, so kind of got my start out there in the folk scene, and then kind of moved out here. Yeah, that's what I got.
Cool. I'm also from the East Coast.
Cool.
Yeah, I grew up in Connecticut.
Me too.
Hey,
Ooh, I just
all
got way
right.
too excited. There's nothing exciting about Connecticut.
No, not
But
really.
I love the shared not excitement about a place.
Yes. Yeah. When did you start writing songs and playing guitar?
It's not. I got my first guitar when I was 8, and it's actually this guitar that I was holding. It's a little
Oh, that's
classical,
awesome.
kind of like kid-sized guitar, but I still really love it. And I kind of wanted to be more of a rocker, and I was like, this classical thing isn't my jam. And so I didn't. I kind of quit for a long time, and then I asked for like a steel string for my 16th birthday. And so that's when I started playing for real. And I started writing songs right away, like in high school, and started playing open mics in college and everything. So
Great.
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's been
good.
like 5 years, since I graduated from college. And
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, same here. It's all good.
I guess no one can see what we look like or anything, but I'm
That's
older.
good.
I'm a little older than that, but you know.
Right
Yeah,
on. That's
yeah.
experience.
It's
That's all that
experience, yeah.
is.
Been
Yeah.
doing it.
Do you remember the first song that you played on guitar?
Well, I have a good story. Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
So, sorry, I was thinking about back to like when I was in, 3rd grade with, I'm gonna leave that behind. But the first song that I learned to
Sure.
play, when I was 16. So I have another Connecticut native, a very close friend of mine. Her name is Meryl Garbus, and she is the band Tune Yards. And we went to high school together. So some of your listeners might know her from her own music. She's based in
Oh,
Oakland, actually, but
okay. And I just left Oakland.
yeah. So, so she came over. I got my new guitar, and I was like, "Hey," we were both really into the Beatles, and I was like, "There's this song. It's only 2 chords. I only know 2 chords, so this is the perfect song." And it was Yellow Submarine, which is
Perfect.
admittedly not a great song, but we rocked it. And because you're like, I only know 2 chords, so start with this like really easier one. So
That that eerily mirrors my experience too. My first song was Rocky Raccoon.
Okay, great. Is it
Probably,
also 2-3 chords?
yeah, it's probably maybe 3 or 4. And I had a Beatles book that just kind of made everything easy,
Yeah,
and it just shows you where to put your fingers,
yeah.
and that's yeah.
I'm actually
So
working on a Beatles song right now because my friend John Craigie, who's another singer-songwriter from Portland, every
yeah,
year he does this Beatles like acoustic night where he plays a whole Beatles album.
awesome.
And then he has people open that play songs from other Beatles albums. And he's done their whole catalog. I think he's doing Let It Be this time. And so
Oh,
and
great.
he's very charming and funny and tells all these fun Beatles stories. And it's a really great show. So
I actually just saw John He was at the Hult in December.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, hopefully
Yeah, and he was a stand-up comedian slash folk artist.
exactly, he's got it all. So
Yeah, it was
so the
great.
yeah, and he's really good at modifying the Beatles tunes to, like, work with his style and just with the acoustic guitar and stuff. It's a really good show.
Awesome. So your most recent release, The Longest Year, it like pulls you in the first like 30 seconds. The title track is
Oh,
beautiful.
thanks.
Your voice is like it's kind of mind-bending. It's simultaneously delicate and powerful. And in general, it's very hopeful. I think this is an album that everyone could use a little, a little bit of that right now. Can you tell me about these songs and this production
Yeah.
and ending with "What a Wonderful World"? It's this like you definitely had an idea, and I feel like you got it.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really that's, like, really lovely feedback, and, just because of all the, being inside things. Um,
Yeah,
I haven't
the stuff
I
that happened,
haven't
the stuff that
really
happened.
I haven't really gotten to tour it yet much and stuff, so it's really nice to talk about
Okay.
it, and, I think yeah, so, uh I started recording an EP that I thought was gonna be a different project. Every so often in between my full-length albums, I release these kind of, like, amalgam hodgepodgey, like, EPs that are like, loose ends. They're, like,
Okay.
uh covers and live tracks and songs that I don't think have a home on a full length. And so I started working on
Sure.
that, and I started recording some of these songs that I had been writing, and I realized I realized partway through the project that it was kind of a different thing, and that the songs were actually taking a different direction, and they were actually way more cohesive than I had thought. And as I started to, like, kind of piece it together, um, I realized that it was intended to be more of a pandemic EP, a different thing, and all the songs do have kind of a hopeful air to them, which I think,
Yeah.
like, uh, like, for the last year or two, like, I think that's what I've been leaning into more. I think it's been harder to listen to really sad stuff when things feel, like, kinda bleak, in, like, a global way.
No
I
question.
think,
Yeah.
like, it's, like, a little different if you're just, like, personally feeling bleak, and then you can kinda, like, listen to your, like, Ryan Adams and, get really or whatever, Patty Griffin, and get really sad or something. But I feel
Yeah.
like, I think that I, like, really wanted to project something more hopeful. And yeah, so the album
Yeah.
took a different, shape, and I restructured it, rebranded it, and then called it The Longest Year, and there is more of a theme to it for sure.
Yeah. Was there a particular song that when you were done recording it, you were like, "Oh yeah, like that's the one."
My favorite track on the album is the second track, which is called Sky Spinning.
Sky spinning, cloud drift, fall in the back room. Wonder if I've lost you. Wonder if I want to. Nauseous from the thick of my failing. Wishing I could steal back the evening. Slip into the side of your sleep.
It was the single, and I feel like I don't even know why it's my favorite. I mean, I think it's a little more conversational, and it's got, I really like how the production turned out on it. I think it could have been a little bit different or a little more boring, but I really am happy with how it came together. I played lap steel on it, so I wrote those parts, and then I had a upright bass guy come in and do some bowed bass, which ended up kind of creating more of, like, almost cello vibes on it. And I was
Mm,
just really happy with how it came out, and you just never really know going into a thing.
of
Um,
course.
so that's probably my favorite, but I mean, close second would probably be the title track, which I feel like also, it turned out, like, kinda better than expected. I actually had to re-record that song because it started out. I tried it in like a really different way, like an electric vibe
Mhm.
and like a more upbeat thing, and I wasn't happy with how it was sounding, and so I totally scrapped it and started from
Yeah.
scratch and built it back up, and I'm really happy with that. I'm glad it kind of proves like how it's worth it sometimes to kind of just start over, if something's not
Oh,
working. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. And that leads into my next question. Um, it's not just acoustic, this record, and it's like I noticed a lot of like it could be a casino guitar or like a semi hollow telly or something like that. Like you got non-traditional, like when I think of folk music, non-traditional instruments like being played here too, which is cool.
Well, so I play most of the lead parts on the album. I played a lot of lap steel and telly.
Mhm.
There's one other part that someone else played, but in general, I play all the electric guitars. So that obviously doesn't work live because,
Yeah.
but but I have an amazing electric guitar player that I tour with regularly and most of the time. But they live in LA, so they're not going to be at this next show, unfortunately. But they do play a lot of shows with me, and I do try to bring those elements in as much as is possible and affordable for a live show because I do think it adds a lot. And but I mean, it's nice too to do them stripped down. Like it's a little bit of a different thing, and I think I kind of lean into the acoustic guitar a little bit differently when there's not the other parts. And
Mhm.
I mean, I will be playing electric guitar at the show, just rhythm guitar, just be playing both acoustic and
Cool.
electric on different songs. Yeah.
Awesome. We talked about John Craigie, and this week we have Rodney Crowell at the Holt Center, and then we have Mary Chapin Carpenter coming in June. So, what is it about folk music that it endures? It stands the test of time. It's still going, and it's still popular, and new artists are recording it, and old artists are still recording it. So, give me some
Yeah.
insight into that.
Wow, I wish I had all the insight for you. I think I mean, I do think that it's like it comes in and out of favor for sure. I think it's had its moments of being of its like heyday and like popularity. I wouldn't really call right now one of those times for really, but I do think that there's room right now for just so many genres to thrive. Like there's not really like one thing emerging as like the big thing. So I think there's a lot of parallel um, genres that are happening, and I've always just been drawn to acoustic music. I think I really like I'm drawn to the focus on lyrics that comes from that, and singer songwriters that are kind of more poetic and bring
Mhm.
that like poignancy to like their lyricism. And so I think that's a lot harder if you're trying to do that kind of uh those kind of lyrics over a louder sound.
Sure. Yeah, less sonic noise to get in the way,
Yeah.
kind of.
People do it
Yeah.
though. I mean, there are, geniuses that are,
Absolutely,
fronting
absolutely.
bands like in that way. So, but I think, yeah, I grew up, I was really drawn to like Simon and Garfunkel and Cat Stevens and stuff. And that was kind of just like, I was like, this is it. This is the spot. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to play at your space. And it's been a minute since I've played in Eugene. It's been a minute
Yeah.
since I played lots of places, so I'm excited to be out there. And yeah, I hope that people check it out.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Thanks.
Um, so Chris will be at the Holt Center on Friday, April 22nd at 8 o'clock for the 10 for 10 series. Tickets are just $10, and we can't wait to see you.
There is a stain around us. There is a question hanging loud. Is there any way to get back from where we've been? But it's quiet in the middle. There is a bridge right to the sun.